Now 6:06 this morning, we're seeing encouraging results of the Madison County mask ordinance order that was put in place 1 week before the state order.
Health and local government leaders like Madison City Mayor Paul Finley are seeing a trend of lower positive cases, at least in Madison County. So joining us right now via Zoom is Mayor Finley. Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
It's almost like we've been here before, seeing a lowering of the numbers, but this time it seems like the masks are working. How do you ensure people continue wearing them with or without an order in place?
Well, I think this community is bought into trying to get through this pandemic together. You know, how do you ensure it? You don't necessarily. There's personal responsibility and all that, and we've been talking about that from the start. But we've seen people wearing masks. I think once they start to see the positive results like we saw and were able to present yesterday, they'll continue to buy in. And again, our goal is to get through this and get back to some sort of normalcy.
Mr. Mayor, we understand the outdoor pool at Dublin Park is closed to the public until Monday for sanitizing of locker rooms and pool equipment there. Kind of walk us through what happened out there. We understand there was an asymptomatic person who tested positive for coronavirus. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And the other part about that is, and lifeguards, you know, one of the things is as kids are going back to college, they're required to take a coronavirus test. We had a lifeguard who, asymptomatic, went and took his test. Or I don't even know if it's a he or she, to be honest with you. And then came back to work. You know, we talk about once you take a test, stay at home. But I have to, you know, when you're asymptomatic and don't feel anything and you're checking off a box, I do understand why they did that. With that said, the test came back positive. So as a city, you immediately take the responsible role. We shut the pool down. We'll sanitize everywhere we were. And we've sent all those other folks that we're in contact with that lifeguard to get tested.
Mr. Mayor, at yesterday's news conference, you addressed daycare as parents are adjusting to the virtual school plan in Madison County. You say follow the legal guidelines set by the Department of Human Resources. How long do you feel that the virtual instruction will be offered given the current trend to see how long parents will need daycare?
Well, I think as long as the superintendents feel it's necessary. And, you know, without question, that was the loudest thing that we've heard in City Hall was, how am I going to make this work? Mm-hmm. You know, my communication specialist is one of the people who has a 5-year-old who's getting ready to go into kindergarten, and she needs to do her job at the city and be a parent. So I think that's part of what we talked about is as long as it is in place, we as employers need to just do and find innovative ways to support parents as they work through this while making sure that we're still getting the job done at work.
We noticed yesterday, Mr. Mayor, the city of Huntsville, they released some more information talking about how they continue to see budget deficits due to the pandemic. Are you guys seeing some struggling areas, or how is the pandemic impacting your budget, and maybe any specific services that are going to have to be cut moving forward?
You know, our budget still right now is holding firm, but, you know, we don't have a lot of the big ticket items that Huntsville does. It's a good thing and a bad thing, and not a lot of car dealerships and furniture stores and so forth. But, you know, all of us will be looking at our budgets next year, because one of the things that's kept some of these businesses going is the CARES Act money, the PPP money. Mm-hmm. That runs out. And when that runs out, these businesses then are going to be in a position of continuing down that path. And we certainly hope most of them stay open, but some of them may not. So we're going to be cautious as we do a budget, basically outside appropriations, like for the Space and Rocket Center. We set a cap at about 3% of our general fund budget. And so we'll be looking at that, but very cautiously looking forward as we look to put things in place.
Speaking of the Space and Rocket Center, you know full well that they're undergoing some financial major problems right now. You mentioned something yesterday, a possible government getting involved in that. In what way? Well,
they're already in our budget. So they're one of the outside agencies that the city supports. You know, the #1 tourist attraction in the state of Alabama. We also, up until this year, did our State of the City address under that Saturn V rocket. So we look at places like the Space and Rocket Center, like the Botanical Garden, the National Children's Advocacy Center, Wellstone as far as mental health. Those are all outside appropriation agencies that the city funds at some level. So we will again look at that. You have to prioritize, and you also have to see how much money you have available now and in the future. So The Space and Rocket Center, a critical, just an icon for this area, and something that we all hope we can the community can come together and help them keep going. It's critical for our area.
Yeah, we'll keep that conversation going. In the meantime, we do appreciate you joining us this morning. Madison City Mayor Paul Finley, thanks for being here.
Betcha.
It is 6:11 right now on your Thursday morning.